But will you please stand for the presentation of the colors by the W.J. Keenan High School Army JROTC Color Guard. Members of the Color Guard are First Sergeant Justice Leidy, Battalion Command Sergeant Major Jeremiah Brody, Battalion Executive Officer Destiny Taylor, and Company Commander Hassan Williams. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by W.J. Keenan High School's homecoming queen, Quadranaya Mayers.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Superintendent State of the District Address. My name is Alyssa Weiner, and I serve as the Public Information Manager in the Richland 1 Office of Communications. Thank you all so much for coming to tonight's event, which is being live streamed from W.J. Keenan High School. We would also like to thank Principal Vondre Whaley for hosting tonight's event, and to the W.J. Keenan Army JROTC Color Guard under the direction of Major Albert Ross and First Sergeant Willie Freeman for presenting the colors, and to W.J. Keenan High School's homecoming queen, Quadranaya Mayers, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in thanking them. We thank everyone for joining us either in person or via the live stream on our website. Before we proceed, I'd like to do a few recognitions, and I know our board chairman and superintendent will do some additional recognitions as well during their remarks. First, the members of the Richland 1 Board of School Commissioners, will you please stand as I call your names? Commissioner Dr. Aaron Bishop, Chairman. Commissioner Angela Clyburn, Vice Chairwoman. Commissioner Robert Lominack, Secretary-Treasurer. Commissioner Jamie Devine, Parliamentarian. Commissioner Cheryl Harris. Commissioner Tamika Myers. And Commissioner Barbara Weston. Superintendent Dr. Craig Witherspoon and members of the Superintendent's Cabinet, will you please stand? Teacher of the Year, Mr. Kevon Barger, and our Classified Employee of the Year, Ms. Cheslyn Jackson. Will you please stand if you're present? And we are also honored to have 3 members of the Richland One Hall of Fame in the audience with us tonight: Dr. Ronald Rames, Miss Regina Brown, and Mr. Kerry Rich. Also joining us this evening are Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott, Columbia Richland Fire Chief Aubrey Jenkins, and Fire Marshal George Adams. And we also have some of our former Richland One principals for a day in the audience as well, along with several representatives of our business and community partners, including Prisma Health, United Way of the Midlands, Midlands Technical College, Benedict College, the University of South Carolina, Communities in Schools, and First Steps. Please stand and let us recognize you. Thank you all so much for being here. At this time, I'll ask Board Chairman Dr. Aaron Bishop to come up and bring greetings on behalf of the board.
Good evening. Welcome to our annual State of the District address for Richland School District 1. This is an amazing time for us as a community to come together as a village to see where we play our part. Now, everyone knows that there's a quote that says it takes a village to raise a what? Child. But there's a question that one of our Hall of Famers may have asked during the celebration of life for George Glimpman. I believe that was Kerry Rich. He asked the question, well, who's raising the village? Tonight, Richland One is here to raise the village, to raise the awareness. There was a woman some years ago, as we are here in the month that we call Black History Month, who was a founder of the NAACP. And that woman led an organization called the National Association of Colored Women. She gave it a motto. The motto was that we should live as we climb. Tonight, that's what we're doing. We're not just raising the village, we're lifting the village. And so tonight, maybe you will tell yourself that I need to lift as I climb. As you are an educator, a parent, an adult, a student, to lift something is personal. This is your district. This is your community. These are our children. And so we should lift as I climb. But then we have to do something greater than that. We have to ask our neighbor, a co-parent, a community leader, are you lifting as you climb? Because it's a shared responsibility for a shared vision. Because teamwork makes the dream work. And so if I lift as I climb and you lift as you climb, then we lift as we climb. It takes the Urban League, as I recognize Mr. J.T. McLaughlin. It takes the City of Columbia, it takes the county, it takes the State House, it takes the White House. It takes all of us to be a part of this heavy lift. Because you know why? If I lift as I climb, you lift as you climb, and we lift as we climb, then the true word is that I am Richland One. You are Richland One. We are Richland One. And so tonight you should see yourself in the responsibility of the lift. And the lift is hard, but it's fair. And when we say fair, it is a fight. It's a fight for tomorrow. It's a fight for today. And it's a fight to preserve everything from yesterday. Because we all stand on the shoulders of many people, giving us this perspective for today, this perspective for tonight. So, on behalf of me and my colleagues of the Richland 1 School Board of Commissioners, welcome. Thank you for coming to hear about the health and the wealth, meaning the riches in education, not monetary, but intellectual. That you will see that Richland 1 is still Richland 1, a leader at transforming lives through education. So tonight, when we are listening to our superintendent, we should find our responsibility in the lift. Good evening. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Bishop. We are always happy to have an opportunity to showcase some of the many talented students we have here in Richland 1, and tonight, we are in for a very special treat. W.J. Keenan High School's Marching Keenan Raider Rubber Band, under the direction of Mr. Howard Parnell, is made up of approximately 60 students from W.J. Keenan High School and W.G. Sanders Middle School. The band has two pieces they will be performing tonight. Their first is a medley of Whitney Houston songs, including I'm Every Woman, How Will I Know, and It's Not Right, But It's Okay. And their second piece is the Keenan Raiders fight song, Up for the Raiders. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Marching Keenan Raider Rubber Band! perform in the 2024 National Memorial Day Parade in Washington, D.C. on May 27th. Yes! All right, it is now my pleasure to introduce Richland 1 Superintendent Dr. Craig Witherspoon, who will present his 2024 State of the District Address.
Good evening. Good evening. Let's give the rubber band another round of applause. Commissioner Bishop and members of the board, and we often talk about the why. You just saw the why. And we have the why. We've got some other young people that are here with us for this address, and I want to thank them for being here because it does keep us focused and it does keep us grounded. Before I begin this evening, I want us to pause, if you will, just for a brief moment. We had one of our teachers today on the way to work to be involved in a wreck on the highway and is currently in the hospital. So I want us to pause for a minute. Tequila Skelton, teacher at Pine Grove Elementary, Dr. Pickett, just gave me an update right before we got started. So if we could just have a moment of silence for her health and well-being. Thank you. Again, to our board, chair, our elected, appointed officials, other invited guests, administrators, staff, and community, welcome you to the 2024 State of the District Address. It is always a pleasure to share with you the information about our school district that strives to engage, to educate, and empower the students that we serve from approximately 500 square miles and as diverse in all aspects of that definition. Every parent in every community in our footprint wants the best for their children. And it's our responsibility to provide those options, opportunities, and experiences that support the students' growth, development, and success. As we reflect, refocus, and refine our work, that's what we keep in mind, because ours is a journey of continuous improvement, taking students from where they are to closer to where they need to be and beyond. And as our chair has stated, the first part of our mission statement, vision statement, so that our students can realize their potential in dreams. Their potential in dreams. And that must continue to be the guiding reason for the work that we do. From getting more and more students engaged at the earliest age possible, to certifications, certificates, and associate's degrees, and being lifelong learners and productive citizens beyond our doors. This journey must be intentional and unwavering, regardless of the headwinds, the distractions, and the roadblocks that occur. That said, I want to start this evening by looking at those fundamental foundational building blocks, looking at early childhood and elementary areas to enhance literacy and those instructional skills. Over 400 pre-K through 3 teachers have received explicit and systematic teaching based on the science of reading. We continue to invest in home libraries for our students. We know that the more books in our students that they have and they're exposed to increases their opportunities to become fluent readers. Speaking of reading, last year, many of our pre-K through 8th grade students joined the Superintendent's Book Club, reading over 1.04 million books. That said, we've just announced a couple weeks ago the latest book club challenge that will receive equally or even more success. And throughout this past year, I've been thrilled to see our students out in the grocery store and other stores, and they're sharing with me how many books they read. They've been a part of the club, but you know, the most important thing they wanted to tell me is, I dunked you in that dunking booth. And I said, yes, you did. So this year, I've issued another challenge to be slimed, Commissioner Clyburn. But I know our students are up to that challenge, and quite frankly, so am I. Our Thrive Richland work plays a role in early childhood progress, from book distributions, play groups, home visitations, professional learning opportunities for instructional assistants, and child care for teachers in our community. The more early learners that are being positively impacted at that age, the more positive impact that we have moving forward. We have expanded 3K, allowing us to serve 112 students at 7 sites. We've expanded 4K classrooms to 42, and we've expanded the early childhood assistance team to include a social worker, 2 psychologists, a nurse, a speech pathologist, and 5 academic interventionists, providing early intervention services for the students and families that we serve. Over the past 2 years, as it relates to KRA, or Kindergarten Readiness Assessment, we've seen a decrease of 2.7 points in students rating emerging. We've seen a decrease of 0.9 points in the students rated approaches, and an increase in the number of students demonstrating kindergarten readiness by 3.6 points. So we're moving that needle. That said, more is needed, more is planned, and more should be delivered. We've made progress in literacy, English, and language arts. To illustrate this point, over the past 2 years, again, we've decreased the number of students whose scores does not meet and approaches by 6.2 points and 1.6 points, respectively. And at the same time, we've increased the number of students who scored met or exceeds by 2.1 and 5.6 points, respectively. That's undeniable growth. As for math, we've seen the same trajectory. Does not meet was reduced by 3 points, approaches was increased by 0.4, and met increased by 1.8, and exceeds increased by 0.8. Richland 1, like school districts across the state and country, saw higher increases in reading than math coming out of the pandemic. That said, we're not resting on our laurels as we pursue continuous improvement and growth. Benchmarks and other formative assessments indicate that progress is being made this year, both in reading and math. And I appreciate the work that our schools are doing around common formative assessments and professional learning, or PLC, work. As we look at our formative projections, again, at this point in this school year, as we pass the midway point of this school year, we're seeing growth in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, again in math, as well as literacy. Now, some of our greatest growth is occurring where there's fidelity to the systems and processes that we have put in place. And on behalf of our students, I want to thank our team for ensuring that this is happening on a regular basis up and down the organization. I want to pause this time. I want our principals to please stand, because they know, you guys go ahead and stand. 2 years ago I missed you, so I'm going to make sure I get it this year. I want to thank this group. Because what happens, thank you, is, again, if we're talking about how things work in an organization, complex organization, again, that's set, mission, vision, purpose by the board, that's given to the administration, that's given to the administration. And that's given, again, cascading up and down this organization. So I appreciate the work. And I will say this, being a school leader, being any leader in this day and time is tough. And as I tell this group monthly and sometimes more than monthly, keep the focus, keep that faith, and continue working for those young folks that we serve. Thank you all. As for the Office of Special Services, as an early adopter of RoboKind, an interactive curriculum that assists students with social and emotional learning needs, several of our teachers in the district have been recognized for their work in helping students. Those include Shamice Wallace of H.C. Moore, who is our longest user, Janelle Mickens of Satchel Ford, Mark Davis, Horal Hill, Tricia Linton of Carver Lion, Angela Pay of Rosewood, Christine Gilliard-Whittle of J.P. Thomas, Ramona Sisu of Rotkins Nance. We have two board-certified behavioral analysts, Laura Kristen and Taryn Rowe, who work with planning intervention services for identified students. These but a few of the individuals who aid in this collective work of improving outcomes for our special needs students. I'm also proud of the district's work with Unified Champions. That includes engaging and including our students of special needs in the school and the general curriculum, because that's a priority. When we say all, we mean all. And all should be able to realize their best self. Congratulations to the schools in Richland 1 that have supported these efforts. Also, just recently, Richland 1 now has 2 schools that are schools to watch at the middle grades level. Creighton Middle and Hand Middle. Let's give them a round of applause. And what that shows is, and kudos again to all, because I'll get the calls and emails, you didn't say mine, and I get it. But what that says is, again, we take that commitment to heart. And what is interesting, when the committee spoke, and I don't want to get ahead of that recognition, but when the committee spoke and when we talked to that committee and what they recognized both schools for, and this is happening in all of our schools, but that commitment, again, as I've talked about, how do we engage all students? How do we provide those opportunities to be in advanced classes, to realize their potential and dreams and move that forward? Also talking about our AAP department, our Advanced Academic Programming. Richland 1 continues to provide rigorous learning opportunities for locally and state-identified gifted and talented students. By including early childhood teachers in professional learning opportunities, expanding our Young Einsteins program and Einstein 2.0, we have seen consistent and overall increases in the number of second graders qualifying as state-identified gifted and talented students. That's access and that's equity. As for secondary education, technical and career education, department is working to add new completer pathways, such as real estate licensure, golf course technology, and emergency medical technician. Our CTE shop has expanded the animal veterinary science program here at W.J. Keenan. As you rode in, did you see the signs up? I rode by and I took a look at the goats again. And they have now added a miniature cow in the birthing of pygmy goats. You can see them out there as well. These and many other opportunities expand the horizon for our students on their college and career paths. And this is CTE Month. Our nationally recognized Challenger Learning Center has several programs of note. The summer camps are recognized as an official NASA Astro Camp, designated by the Federal Aviation Administration. And they're even hosting the AVCOM 2024 and a statewide aviation esports competition. In addition, our Challenger Foundation received a $20,000 grant from the South Carolina Aeronautics Commission to support their unmanned aircraft system in drones. And by the way, Richland 1 is only one, I think, of 3 in the nation that has a Challenger Learning Center associated with a school district. Richland 1, a leader in education. All 48 of our schools are among the 781 schools across this nation to be named as America's healthiest schools by the Alliance for a Healthier Generation for the 2023 school year. Richland 1 has had more award recipients than any other school district in South Carolina. Richland 1 has and continues to be at the forefront of professional learning opportunities. We offer a variety of micro-credentialing stacks for certified employees to participate in self-initiated, self-paced learning opportunities. We currently have approximately 430 enrolled in nearly 100 micro-credentialed completer areas. Again, kudos to our staff for the commitment to our students, their commitment to professional growth, and a commitment to enhancing the teaching profession. In our Office of Federal and State Programs, they continue to provide needed support and advisement for our schools, as well as earning recognition statewide and nationally. At the South Carolina Association of Title I School Administrators Conference, Richland 1 presented Bringing Life to Words. They highlighted our work in terms of authors' visits, motivational speakers, and other activities that we do in this district. We continue to be recognized nationally for our parent and family engagement initiatives by the National Network of Partnership Schools at Johns Hopkins University. Richland 1, as well as Columbia High, received the 2023 Partnership Award. We appreciate the work of our coordinator, Ms. LaTorsha Murray, and all of our parent and family engagement specialists. Just as I've noted progress in ELA Ready in grades 3 through 5, we're also seeing progress in our middle schools as well as our high school EOC areas. In middle grades, under SC Ready, ELA, there was a 6.3 point increase in met and exceeded over the last 2 years. We also saw reductions in the does not meet category by 5.2 points. For SC Ready Math, again in the middle grades, we saw a 0.6 increase in met and exceeded, and a reduction in the does not meet by 0.2. Algebra 1 pass rate improved by 7.1 points, biology improved by 4.1 points, and the pass rate for English 2 improved by 1.3 points. Between 2021 and 2023, Richland 1's college and career rate among our graduates increased by 11.1%. 11.1% in a 2-year period. Last year, we saw a 0.5 increase to 55.8, but we continue to see increases. We continue to document our progress, and as Hester and others, Prince and others have shared with us, as we, in our high schools, and we're doing a lot in that area, quite frankly, that does not get documented because our folks are busy doing the work. But as we move in that area, that number will increase. It has increased, and it will continue to move forward. For our multi-language learners, Richland 1 is outperforming the state in meeting progress toward their proficiency targets by 3.8%. And that percentage total here was 57.1. And that's the goal of becoming proficient as an ESOL student within 5 years of enrollment. Student progress outperforms the state in elementary and middle school progress in meeting their SC Ready goals by 0.5 points to 51.7. In the fall, administration of STAR, which is our formative assessment data, we see an increase in proficiency in both reading and math on state benchmarks compared to the fall of 2022. In addition, Richland 1 performed in the average or high percentile ranges in 11, 10 in average, 1 in high, of the report card areas for graduation rate, CCR, multi-language learner progress, school climate, SC Ready, ELA, Math, Science, and all 4 of the EOC exams. Seal of Biliteracy. Richland 1 has outperformed districts around us in the total number of seals of biliteracy issued in 2023. Richland 1 we had 47 students earning that seal, which is the 8th most in the state. This year we have 203 applicants, which is 199% more who qualified will take the exam to earn that seal this year. Recognizing Dr. Trent Rogerson, who is our multilingual specialist at Dreer High School, has earned her National Board Certification in ESOL. She is one of the very few teachers in the Midlands to earn this distinction. Her work with her students utilizes literature as an approach to teaching students academic English. Visual and performing arts. I want to recognize the AC Flora orchestra teacher, Jarvanique Tinsley. He has been named one of 50+ directors who make a difference by the School Band and Orchestra magazine. This recognition honors music educators from each state and Washington, D.C. Tinsley was the only South Carolina music director, orchestra director, that was selected. Seven Richland 1 students have been selected for the South Carolina Music Educators Association All-State Orchestra. 6 Richland 1 high school students have been selected for the Music Educators Association All-State Chorus. And these 2 are more examples of our outstanding students that we are providing options and opportunities and experiences for their success. Student support remains also at the foundation of moving our students forward. Our social work services department continues this effort, and I want to mention some of those highlights this evening. Over 10,000 meals were packed and distributed to Richland 1 families as a part of an ongoing partnership between Richland 1 and the Columbia Rotary Club. I want to thank the club and thank them and everyone. Our administrators participate that's on the first weekend of December, and a lot of these folks roll up their sleeves and go over to Seawells and help pack those meals, and our families are very appreciative of that. To increase access for students of critical mental health care services, Richland 1 has expanded mental health services to include all of our elementary schools. All school counselors and social workers receive professional development on mental health first aid to strengthen skills needed to support students and teachers when they are experiencing a mental health crisis. And approximately 10,000 resource services, food, clothing, other items of need, were provided to students and families by our social work department. And just last week, we've had families displaced by fire, losing all that they had. And who was there to help? Richland 1, our schools, and our social work department. Nursing services, in partnership with Healthy Learners, provided 944 services to 300 students as of January. Dental Access has provided 532 services to 226 students as of last month, through this middle of the year. Nursing Services has partnered with the Daisy Foundation to recognize school nurses in Richland 1 as the first in the state and the second in the nation to receive that award and that recognition. In our McKinney-Vento office, we're in the second year of a partnership with the Columbia branch of the NAACP to provide housing-related assistance to families in the Richland 1 footprint. They're held monthly across our district. Families have received direct assistance on a range of topics, including legal, public benefits, affordable housing, employment, utility assistance, and more. To date, approximately 300 families have participated in housing clinics. Our school counseling and services department reports that the class of 2023 graduates received nearly $77 million in scholarship offerings. That exceeded last year's total, the 22 total, by $3 million. And that's a testament to our students, our staff, and everybody working together as we continue to rebound from the COVID pandemic. Just as important as these support work areas are, partnerships also play an integral role in improving options, outcomes, and experiences for our young people. Alyssa mentioned a few earlier. I know we have some others in here that are here. Thank you. We did recognize J.T. McLawhorn from Urban League. I know we have some others that are here. As we say, blame it to our heads, not our heart, or vice versa. My apologies. But we thank you for being here. But a few that I do want to recognize: the Columbia Council of Neighborhoods. Mr. John Black is here. We thank you. And they're embarking on a program now that will help some of our barbering students at Hayward Career Center. The Columbia Rotary, I mentioned, Prisma Health, Harvest Hope Food Bank, the United Way of the Midlands, Columbia Housing, our faith-based community. Some of our faith-based community partners, they provide meals for some of our athletic programs. They support our schools in backpack programs and the like. We have our foster grandparents program. We have individuals here from our local colleges and universities, and we also recognize our law enforcement and our emergency services. They're integral parts. When things occur in our footprint, we all collaborate, we all talk, and we work together to make sure that our families have what they need. As we continue our efforts to engage, educate, and empower, Richland County School District 1 to date, we host approximately 3,300 active volunteers. These volunteers give of their time and talent at the direction of the local school administrator in supporting the work that goes on in our schools, our classrooms, and other specified areas. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our volunteers. And I also want to thank those individuals who are part of our R1 Champs program. Those individuals continue to support our school campuses, adding to the positive climate and culture at our schools. Some of our students refer to some of our champs as uncle, as a part of that school family. So that too has been a tremendous benefit for our young people. Student nutrition, based upon feedback from our students. 7 of our high schools, Ms. Dixon, have received upgrades in their cafeterias with the installation of kiosks, which allow for more meal selection, grab-and-go options for our students. Nutrition Services has added 12 additional staff with their safety certifications, which is a requirement that each school have certified staff members on site at all times to ensure safety procedures are adhered to in a proper manner. Financial services, also embedded in our effective and efficient operations. Financial services continues to perform at a high level. For 35 consecutive years, this district has received international awards and national awards from the Government Finance Officers Association and the Association of School Business Officials. This is the highest form of recognition in areas of governmental accounting and reporting, and the district must receive clean audits to get this award. Richland 1 has also received some of the highest possible short-term bond ratings from Standard & Poor's. Most current bond sale in the spring of 2023 was A1+, which results in a savings to the Richland County taxpayers. Also, strong ratings reflect our school district's strength and sound financial practices and strong reserves. Other budget highlights include longevity programs for teachers and non-teachers, paid parental leave for all employees, elementary receptionist staffing for our elementary schools, the expansion of our JAG program at all of our high schools, salary increases for certified, non-certified, and bus drivers, all. In addition, we've staffed weapons detectors at our middle schools with not only devices, but the staffing as well. Again, kudos and congratulations to all those associated with financial services. As operations go, we've implemented bus routing software that allows for comparative data between planned and actual routes. We rolled out a new app, actually about a week or so ago, My Ride 360, that gives parents additional information about the on-time arrival of buses. We piloted and then we opened that up. Our Facility Services Department continues to be state recognized for our efforts in energy management. Our solar project, in association with Schneider Electric, has yielded tremendous savings over the past few years with energy consumption. We even have one school in our district that generates enough power that runs the school, and actually we receive a credit for that solar work at Lower Richland High School. We continue to work on HVAC upgrades and other facility needs as we examine the possible need of perhaps a bond program in the future. I'm also pleased to share that in partnership with Richland County, Richland One has formally closed out all 3 waste and water treatment facilities that we have, Commissioner Harris. This is the culmination of a 15-year effort to discontinue waste treatment operations across Richland One, and this was finally completed last month. As for information technology, we continue to improve our backup systems, our Wi-Fi, security upgrades, network cabling, multi-factor authentication, and other upgrades to help us maintain a safe and effective information technology network. And I'll share with you, I appreciate that staff and everybody, because K-12 environments, if you don't know it, are the most attacked environment and sector around cybersecurity. So I appreciate that work that everybody does, not just our IT shop, but I appreciate the work that's done in that area. Our Security and Emergency Services Department continues to monitor and assist schools with effective safety procedures and updates. With the addition of our school security associates in our middle and high schools, we're able to be proactive, faster, when and if the needs arises in sites across our district. And in the area of operations as well, we're continuing our Bell and our PA upgrades as well. And athletically speaking, Richland One has realized a total of 16 state championship wins for individuals and teams, including swimming, tennis, cross country, and track and field. Recruitment and retention. While business and industry across all sectors are experiencing challenges in these areas, we continue to face those challenges head on. Over the past few years, we've offered a variety of incentives totaling thousands and thousands of dollars to support recruitment efforts and retention efforts of existing staff. Such incentives included fuel, retention, recruitment, referrals, and the like. Over the past 3 years, we have increased salaries over 10+%, in addition to those bonuses and incentives that we have provided. But we know that funding alone does not address this issue totally. In fact, we have strategically embarked on ways to improve the resiliency and efficacy of what happens in our schools and in our departments across our district. We've embarked on a program called Resilience at Work. And there are 7 areas, and listen closely to these areas. Living authentically, finding your calling, maintaining perspective, mastering stress, interacting cooperatively, staying healthy, and building networks. These areas are assessed, and our leaders are given tools and the skills to help build in these areas. And we're seeing progress with our results during this implementation period. Kudos to our schools who have embedded these practices in their day-to-day, week-to-week, and month-to-month basis. I would also like to note that preliminary feedback from districts across the country and internationally that are doing this work, Richland 1 fared better in some of our baseline data than other districts, again, that were participating in this work. So as I say quite often, we're not as bad as sometimes folks want to say. As we look forward, several things are on the horizon. We look forward to completing our new strategic plan. We will be bringing a recommendation to the board in a couple of months. This will continue to be our guide as we work strategically across our organization to improve outcomes, our operations, and the like. The strategic plan provides the guardrails for our work. I look forward to bringing a recommendation to the board in the near future that provides esports equipment for clubs and teams to be formed in all of our high schools. Further plans include moving this esports club and programs and the equipment needed to our middle schools. We know that scholarships and other opportunities are available for students as they matriculate through our school district. This is another opportunity for us to give exposure and experiences and opportunities for the young people, and we look forward to bringing that to fruition. Now, before I close, I want to bring to your attention two events that I'm proud of. I'm proud of everything I've said this evening, but two events that have been very powerful because they exemplify what we do for and because of our students. One of those events occurred last year, and the other event occurred a few weeks ago. Last year, we held our inaugural R1 Rising Stars Recognition Program. Our executive directors of schools, you guys raise your hands. They're shy, but they work. Last year, again, our executive directors of schools, I gave them a challenge that we wanted to recognize students in all of our schools that sometimes get overlooked. And they have improved, be it in academics, behavior, or some challenge that may have been outside of themselves. And we wanted to recognize them. And we did it last spring at Eau Claire in grand fashion. And if you could have seen the looks on those students as they walked across that stage, whose name was called, first of all, but whose name was called for something good and positive. And I didn't know someone was paying attention. And as I told our principals and the EDs, we changed some lives. We changed some trajectories that night. Last year, we recognized 97 students. This year, we're going to recognize at least double or more of those students. But we're not doing it at a high school. We're moving that to the convention center this spring. Now, a few weeks ago, I had an opportunity to attend a meeting of our school-based mentoring sponsors at our middle schools, high schools and middle schools. These are staff, but just like you have the yearbook sponsor and this sponsor and that sponsor, we have sponsors who work with mentoring programs. in our schools. But this meeting was so powerful and I told them when I spoke with them, I said, you guys, and Carrie Abel invited me in to give some remarks. But as I told them, I said, you all brought me to tears. It was so powerful to hear those men talk in real terms, or real talk, as it were, about the importance and the work that they were doing to provide for students, again, who don't get those experiences and opportunities that many folks take for granted. To even open their eyes and see possibilities. You see, some of our young people don't have an opportunity sometimes to travel outside of their school footprint. We have students that hadn't been to the beach, hadn't been, again, outside of our footprint and what we provide. It was so humbling to hear these sponsors speak about the impact of those added experiences that our students are being afforded. They discussed the work, what they've done, what needed to be tweaked, even said, oh no, we've got benchmarks on that day, you might want to take a trip next week, and so forth and so on. But you see, as we travel through this journey of life, and the chair mentioned this a little bit, most things that we have, someone helped us with. Some were provided either an experience, an opportunity, a chance, a kind word, support. And we thrived. We succeeded. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? As a district, as a school, as a community, as an individual. Just imagine how much better we would be, individually and collectively, if we all did that. Again, isn't that what is embedded in our mission statement of our young people realizing their potential and their dreams? Again, thank you to our mentoring sponsors. You moved me. And as I bring this year's address to a close, again, the mission, the vision, the purpose continues to drive what we do for the benefit of the students we serve. And that this journey that we are traveling as we move past the pandemic continues to be not one of only reflection, but of recovery, rebounding. And we're seeing this manifest itself again in all areas of this district. And as I often say, continuous improvement is a journey. It's not a destination. We continue to move forward despite setbacks and lack of acknowledgement of this growth. This does not deter our resolve, our efforts, or our determination. I ask that you continue to support Richland One, our staff, our students. We are Team One, one team. As we reflect on the state of our district, know that we are resilient. We will continue to move forward with our students as our North Star. Thank you all so very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon, and thank you again to W.J. Keenan High School for hosting this year's State of the District Address, and thank you to everyone in attendance and those who watched the live stream. This event was recorded for broadcast on R1 TV, Spectrum Cable Channel 1303, and it will be posted on R1 TV on demand on the district's website. Please join us for refreshments in the lobby area. Thank you again. Good night.